The world's first ever crypto-powered cellular plan was announced yesterday at Helium House, New York City. It is known as Helium Mobile, and it is made possible through a 5-year agreement between Nova Labs and T-Mobile. The beta network is expected to launch in Q1 of 2023, and subscribers will be able to earn mobile tokens for simply using the network. This industry-first deal is a testament to the power of the crypto-fueled incentive model and how it can solve problems that would be nearly impossible for traditional mobile carriers. Helium Mobile will serve as an offload network for T-Mobile, allowing users to seamlessly experience nationwide coverage in any area where T-Mobile or Helium 5G mobile coverage exists. This is tremendous news for Helium and the Helium community, one that has been anticipated for several months. Let's take a look at the details in today's video. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video here on the Crypto Compound channel. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you guys are having a great day. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Today's video, we will be discussing the largest announcement in Helium history, and that is the introduction of Helium Mobile. Yesterday at Helium House, New York City, Amir, Helium, and Boris both helped announce first Helium Mobile and then the partnership that made Helium Mobile possible, which is the T-Mobile Partnership, which is a 5-year agreement between Nova Labs and T-Mobile. This announcement came with a tremendous amount of news regarding Helium Mobile, along with a few other smaller announcements that are also really interesting. We're going to cover all of the major details and replay some important clips here from Helium House, New York City. We're going to cover the major details, the economics and reasoning why Helium Mobile is actually possible, some of the challenges the Helium and Nova team are expecting to experience, and some tips for hosts when deploying these mobile hotspots. Now, interestingly enough, right off the bat at Helium House, they introduced Helium Mobile right away. A lot of people were speculating that the T-Mobile executive or the Deutsche Telekom executive that was giving an announcement towards the end of Helium House was going to be the one where the major announcement was made. However, they did it right off the bat, threw a major curveball in the mix, and they announced it right away. Helium Mobile was one of the first things they talked about after Amir handed off the microphone to Boris. And this is Boris introducing Helium Mobile.
So Helium Mobile is going to be a real nationwide 5G carrier that will provide real voice and data plans for as little as $5 a month.
But now, of course, that sounds very good, but the question on everyone's mind was, how is that going to be possible? We all know that the network as it stands can't be a blanket coverage network over the entire US. It simply doesn't work that way. So the question on everyone's mind was, how is this possible? And shortly after, Boris then announced the partnership with T-Mobile.
We were always very vocal about the use case for the Helium 5G network, that it's actually an offload network. It's not the kind of network that can blanket the US. It just such other properties of the CBRS band that you cannot build the network using CBRS small cells and create ubiquitous coverage everywhere. For you to have nationwide coverage, you need to have a partnership with a macro operator. And today, we are about to announce this partnership. So I'm very happy to announce that our partnership is with T-Mobile. Yeah!
Really awesome stuff. And now, before he got into the nitty-gritty details of how this really is going to work over the next 2 or 3 quarters, he did explain why this is actually possible and what weakness Helium Mobile was addressing for these major carriers.
You would see people that hadn't deployed maybe like 800, 1,000 cells. And these we're talking about some of the carriers, cable operators, stuff like that. So in the last 30 days, we have deployed at least twice the number of cells as the other biggest CBRS installation out there, and the pace is accelerating. So continue doing that. That is extremely important. This is what will allow us to offer superior economics as Helium Mobile, because the biggest problem to small cell deployment is site acquisition, which using our deployment bottoms-up model, we're completely solving for.
So that really is where the power lies when it comes to Helium Mobile. We are able, as a community, and as miners, and as hosts of these hotspots, we are able to deploy these hotspots on our own personal homes, on top of our roofs, where traditional carriers would never be able to do that. They would never be able to get the small micro coverage that the Helium 5G network is now able to provide. Now, some of the details regarding this mobile plan and how it will actually work, as we can see here, there are going to be a few different plans as of right now, starting from 1 gigabyte all the way to unlimited data, voice, and text. The 1 gigabyte a month will start as low as $5 a month. The other prices are to be determined. And they do make note here that good news, as the Helium 5G network grows, the cost of coverage is lowered and savings are passed directly to you. Now, Boris, in his announcement, did say that if you maybe subscribe for the 5 gigabyte a month plan and you don't use all of your data, you will actually be reimbursed the proportional amount in mobile tokens, which would be the first of its kind. There are no other mobile plans or service data plans that I've ever heard of that do anything like that. So that is super cool, and that really shows the flexibility and the creativity here when it comes to this brand new type of mobile plan. Now, as you can see here in the recent blog post here on hellohelium.com, we can see also that Helium Mobile subscribers will enjoy ultra low cost for voice and data plans, earn crypto called mobile, which is the mobile token, of course, for simply using the network. They will benefit from privacy and additional security layers that protect from SIM swap attacks, and they would experience nationwide coverage thanks to T-Mobile. Now, as you can see, they explain that you will have access to both the T-Mobile coverage network and the Helium 5G coverage network with this plan. The industry-first partnership with T-Mobile gives subscribers access to both the local Helium 5G network as well as the T-Mobile 5G network. Now, guys, after all of this excitement and all these major announcements and a little bit of the details were disclosed, Boris did go and explain some of the challenges that they are expecting to face when pioneering a rollout of a project such as Helium Mobile. He explains some of those challenges here.
The notion of having a neutral host network, let alone people deployed neutral host network that is kind of like not in control of a single commercial entity, marrying with a macro network such that somebody can use both, prefer the people's network in places where there is overlapping coverage, and also facilitate for seamless experience, seamless handoffs between the two networks. This is not a problem that's ever been solved, and it's not a problem that's even unique to, I think, Helium Mobile and T-Mobile in this particular case. There is a notion of neutral host networks evolving, and eventually this problem needs to be solved, but we're kind of trailblazing the solution. So getting it solved, I think, is going to take few iterations. I, frankly think that when we launch in Q1, we're going to be, 70% of the way there, but maybe not 100% of the way there. But solving for this kind of seamless interrupt between the two networks, I think, is the hardest problem.
Now, of course, I think this all makes a lot of sense and is to be expected. Of course, as we've seen over the course of the different rollouts for the Helium network, there are obstacles in the way and there are challenges that arise that are unexpected. So that is certainly to be expected, and Boris knows that here. He does outline that we will see challenges, and even in the beta rollout in Q1, they do expect to still be making some tweaks, and that is part of the reason why there is such a high incentive for users, because they will be rewarded for taking this air quotes risk in participating in the network. Now, shortly after that, Frank Mog, along with his awesome shoes that you will see in a second, asks Boris about some of the tips for hosts in launching mobile hotspots and some of the ways for them to be most effective and earn the highest amount of mobile tokens that they can.
So to summarize, right, build useful coverage to your best ability. Get it out, again, as high as you can. Mount it outside facing traffic if you can, with people or cars.
Slow-moving people.
Slow-moving
A lot
people.
of slow-moving people. That's the guidance.
So building useful coverage, making it as high as possible, and around the highest amount of slow-moving people are the biggest tips that Frank here and Boris do recommend for people deploying these mobile hotspots. Now, guys, we will have more on this as more details are unveiled and as more progress is made, but there were other major announcements here at Helium House, one of them being a Nova Labs designed Helium Mapper that maps both IoT and 5G. It seems very compact and straightforward, and Cokes here from the Discord does announce that here.
This is our spot mapper that some of you may have seen on Discord, little sneak peek shots. But it's about the size of an iPhone, the older iPhone, not the new one. And this mapper is pretty magical. It's got, 4 different radios. So it has IoT, so it connects to the LoRaWAN network that are existing original hotspots deployed. It has mobile, so it can connect to 5G networks, which is what its primary use is supposed to be. It's going to, you carry this in your pocket, you turn it on, and it just scans and attaches to cell towers, to 5G radios that these lovely people have manufactured, and it can tell the network whether the radio is where it says it's supposed to be. And the beauty of this mapper is that not only can it kind of scan the 5G networks around you, but it relays that data, the result of its scan, over the IoT network. So now it kind of combines the two subnetworks together to sort of create this holistic experience.
So super interesting and exciting news here regarding this mapper. The fact that the mapper actually leverages the IoT network to relay the data that it captures from mapping the 5G network is super interesting, and really shows the utility of the IoT network. Now guys, really quickly, I did want to touch on the price action we saw after yesterday's announcement. As you can see, this was the daily candle yesterday, this big green bar that spiked up to about the $5.42 level. This is the daily chart. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we can see that the price action did spike directly to the 200 EMA right there, highlighted by that light blue line. It did bounce off and retreat afterwards, and we are down now slightly. However, this is some really strong price action that we saw from the community and from the marketplace. And as you can see, I have drawn these 2 green curves here, which could highlight the beginning of higher lows for Helium, which is the end of the previous downturn and the beginning of the new trend, the new momentum, and the new sentiment here in the community, with expectations of Helium Mobile coming live in Q1 of 2023. So guys, there was a lot that happened. Those are the major highlights that I took from Helium House New York City yesterday. Please leave your questions and comments down below. Super exciting news. Congrats to everyone that's been here along the way. But that is all I have for today's video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please hit that like and subscribe if you have not already. But just like that, this video is over, and I will see you next time.